Hi everyone, welcome to video 2 of Dazza's Diaries. Today I'm going to share with you another diary entry that I have. And let me just quickly tell you the backstory. So I was Skyping my friend on a Saturday night and she was like, "Saturday night, why aren't you out?" And obviously that's a question I get a lot. Because as you probably gathered if you watched my previous videos, I don't drink. I don't go out after like 10 p.m. probably, I don't know. I don't I lead a healthy lifestyle, and that's not just physically. I'm just disciplined in my life, and it's not because I'm rigidly over controlling whatever. It's because I have a reasonable amount of control. And I've said this before, if you feel in control, you're not going to then go into a downward spiral of increasing control to unhealthy levels. So when I was recovering from anorexia and OCD, I established a framework for my life, a set of rules, you know, a kind of to-do list thing which changes depending on the day, and all those kind of things, just so that I feel like I have reasonable control over my life. If anyone's interested, I made a video a couple months ago about what exactly my rules are. Obviously there's leeway and it's flexible, but it's not, but I know that I'm going to do the right thing at the end of the day if I follow it. And that's kind of the idea, so that I feel in control, and I can focus on my recovery. And I owe my recovery and my current happiness to my framework. There's just like a whole different layer of freedom, which is a paradox, because of course you'd think higher control gives you less freedom, but I actually have way more freedom, because as long as I've done tick 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 on my to-do list, as long as I'm following my reasonable health rules and stuff, I'm free. I can do anything else. I'm not constrained by my laziness, by my procrastination, by the fact that, you know, I didn't do anything yesterday, so I have to do double today. That never happens. And so there we are. So I have this diary entry which I wrote after my friend accused me of being too disciplined. And there we are. Why am I so disciplined? Because every time I wasn't, I've had to pay for it. I think many people can relate. One day you decide to let your negative thoughts spiral out of control. The next day you let your alarm ring because they have taken over. And on the third day you fail to do your job and start contemplating whether your existence matters. I never want to feel like that again. So I'd rather wake up early, work conscientiously, and go the extra mile to work on my negative thought patterns. I sit around less, but I sit more comfortably. And it kind of links discipline to mental health. Very important, because obviously if you constantly throw your circadian rhythms and your routine out of like different, you know, whatever. It's not just a fluctuation of physical aspects such as weight or levels of tiredness or whatever. If you don't have at least a reasonable routine, like it's your confidence levels that will be affected as well, because if you can't rely on yourself, who are you going to rely on in life? Like, I can rely on myself to get things done. I can rely on myself to make the right choice at the right moment, high pressure. There are going to be situations which you've never met before, which are going to be like, oh my God, what do I do? But if you can rely on yourself to do the right thing, then you're going to feel confident, and your self-esteem will grow, and and confidence is like a #1 factor in mental health issues, especially to do with depression. I tried many things. When I was recovering, there were days when I would go completely without a routine, and I would completely stay in bed all day. And after a while, what I've just described happened. I would just be like, well, what's the point of me living? I'm not contributing anything. I'm not doing anything. And it spirals out of control. You begin to surrender to your negative thoughts because you've allowed yourself to do it for so long. It only takes that little bit, right? I mean, it doesn't take much to feel worthless, especially when you're a teenager and you feel constantly judged. It doesn't take long before your confidence just plummets. And so having that framework, having that muscle memory for things that you do, having that moral filter, that ability to make the right choice. All of these things which I've kind of refined over the years, which now I have like this stability and this confidence, this reliance on myself, all of that has meant that I'm now healthy and happy. There is so much more room for me to grow, and these rules I keep refining all the time, because obviously every year, you know, my life is different, like moving from school to uni, and just moving countries, like anything. There's always refinement that needs to be made, but nonetheless, if you have a general framework of how you want to live, you're going to be safe from like things throwing you out of control. Like, breakups happen, friends betray you, it's gonna happen to you at some point. Maybe it's not, I hope it doesn't, but things like that generally happen to us sometimes. Traumatic things which are really sad. But if you, and your mind will be busy with it, but if you physically can wake up at the same time, do the same things, even if you're a bit dazed, you will keep rolling. You'll keep rolling and you'll recover faster than somebody who just shuts themselves in, binge watches Friends for a month, and eats crisps all day for a month. It's going to be much harder for that person to get back into normal life than somebody who just kept going. Discipline isn't something that you just have. It's not genetic. It takes years and years to refine, but it's definitely worth the effort. And the other aspect that I was talking about thoughts, it's the same. Working on your thought patterns. What is a healthy way of thinking about your body image, a healthy way of thinking about, you know, your academic performance, a healthy way of thinking about, you know, your friendships? If you can establish a healthy thought pattern, I've talked about this in my Recovering from OCD video and the Secret and Anxiety video. If you have a way of switching negative thought patterns into positive thought patterns, and you do it consistently, you're going to save yourself from a lot of struggle which comes with OCD and anxiety, as well as other issues. So sometimes before, I would relapse back into OCD for months because I wouldn't be disciplined enough. I would forget to stop myself from going into that spiral. And that takes a lot of commitment, because sometimes when you're tired, it's easy to go to bed and to have this obsessive thought and to give into it. But you have to exercise that discipline, because it's for you. Yeah, I love you guys so much, and I hope this helps. See you in my next video.